fellow Hoops fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Last Shot NBA show right here on Little Birdie TV. As always, brought to you by our great mates over there at topsport.com.au. Now, we've got both our heavy hitters in the building. We're going to welcome old mate Benyam Kidane first. We've got Andrew Parkinson joining us a little bit later. BK, what a beautiful day in Zamunda.
Good morning, my neighbours.
Now, just to give our viewers a little bit, BK and I were joking about coming to America before we went on air, so that is that little inside joke taken care of. BK, only one game on the NBA schedule today, but we pretty much had a full schedule yesterday, and there were a lot of great performances. The stars really came out to play yesterday. Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, all three of them having absolutely huge games. Tatum had 49 points in his game. Devin Booker had 51 in just 3 quarters. And KD was doing KD type things. I think he had 30 odd points.
Yeah, 39.
39, yeah. And just real smooth with it yesterday. Like I said, KD doing KD things. My question to you is, BK, having seen these and seeing these guys, and these are all guys that are potentially going to be in the MVP conversation later in the season. I think, Jason Tatum's definitely going to be right up there as well. Who impressed you the most yesterday, BK?
You nailed it. Outside of those performances, we had Zion had a huge game against the Raptors. Giannis had 37, and we're not even talking about them. That's how much was going on yesterday. But really, it was between Booker and Tatum for mine. And watching Jason Tatum go to work, 49, 11 rebounds and the threes, like he was just scoring from all over the floor. A couple of records too. The first player to hit 900 threes before turning 25, which is a symptom of the times, but also credit to just how good Jason Tatum is. And then also the first player to have multiple games of 45 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 threes.
Ew, man.
That's wild.
He's hooping. He actually hit so many threes yesterday that even Prince William was impressed by the royal performance put on by Jason Tatum. You can see here on that clip there, Jason Tatum made a 3, and then you could see Prince William leaning over to his wife saying, "He's good. That boy good." Look, BK.
Hey, a performance fit for a king or future king. But, Jason Tatum, for mine, he is the MVP leader this season. You can make an argument for a few of these other guys, but at the quarter mark of the season, I got to rock with Jason Tatum. But at the same time, Devin Booker was no joke yesterday.
No, he wasn't, BK, and I'm glad you've said that because he's actually my pick for the performance of the day yesterday. D-Book, we know he can put up numbers. He's had a 70-point game in the past. He definitely gets those numbers on the board. He had 51 points in 3 quarters yesterday, BK. 3 quarters. 25 in the first half, 26 in the third quarter alone. Like, he was just like lights out, smooth. He was, what it reminded me of? I think the Kobe fans are about to get on me, but it did remind me of Kobe's 61 points in 3 quarters against the Mavericks, a few years back, because, obviously if they'd left him in that game, he definitely would have gone and maybe even gotten another 70 piece again. He just does it so effortlessly, BK. Their Suns have now won 6 in a row, man. Even Kevin Durant was actually impressed. He tweeted this right after Devin Booker finished the game. We're going to throw the tweet up on the screen right now. I'm not even going to read that out, but there you go.
I don't think you need to say anything else. 20 for 25? Yeah.
Yeah, if Kevin Durant is impressed at what you've done, you've put on a special performance. Because even KD, like we mentioned, he had the 39 points. KD did it on 13 of 20 from the field. Brooklyn have won 5 in a row, BK. At home, I should mention. And Durant has averaged 41.7 points per game in that streak.
It's funny, KD's low-key having one of his best seasons this year. Despite all of the chaos going on in Brooklyn, like when you kind of step back, look at his numbers, and then also the fact the Nets are hovering around 500, which, to be honest, they have no business doing. That's all Kevin Durant.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And he is carrying that team. how far he's going to carry him remains to be seen. But look, shout out to Kevin Durant. I think, like you said, he's having one of his best seasons, and it's kind of going under the radar. One, because of the turmoil surrounding, Brooklyn, but two, like all these other great performances going on around the league. And like you said, look, Tatum, he's definitely going to be right up there for MVP. I'm not ready to call it just yet like you are, but he's definitely going to be right up there at season's end. All right, moving on.
I got one question for you though, Nick. You've got 51 points at the end of the third quarter. Are you staying in the game?
It's a good, look, fair, no, I mean, I look, ideally you'd like to, but I just think under the circumstances, no.
I'm the opposite. Let that man cook. He needed
Look,
19 points to get 70.
Were you asking me, like, if I was Devin Booker, would have if I was Devin Booker, stay in there. I'm going for 80. I thought you meant from like a team perspective. Do you keep him in there? But no, if I'm D Book, keep me in there, coach. Don't take me out. Absolutely. Moving on, BK, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of guys now that haven't been playing recently anyway, but they're making their returns very, very soon. That's James Harden and Chris Middleton. Harden for the Philadelphia 76ers, obviously. Chris Middleton for the Milwaukee Bucks. Both gearing up to make their season debuts in the next few days. Harden's been out since November 4 with a strained right foot tendon. Middleton hasn't played at all this season with a wrist injury. Middleton could be back as early as tomorrow, I believe. BK, out of these two guys, now the 76ers have found a little bit of form now. They're above 500 again. Milwaukee is in the top two in the East. So my question to you regarding this is, which one of these teams needs their player back more right now?
I mean, the answer is James Harden. Philadelphia have kind of papered over the absence of Harden. They've gone 8-4 in the 12 games that he's missed. So that's, Tobias Harris, even Maxey at times has stepped up. But what does intrigue me is when Harden does come back, the ball has been moving really well for the Sixers, especially over these last couple of weeks. It's when he comes back, do they kind of go back into that more, isolation, my turn, your turn with Joel Embiid, which, they've only played 6 games together this season and, haven't really had a ton of chemistry so far. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Sixers bring Harden back in for this, next kind of stretch run of the season, leading up to Christmas.
Yeah, I agree with you, BK. It's definitely for me James Harden right now. But when I'm thinking bigger picture, right, like the Bucks have proven they can win without Middleton during the regular season, but they need him to win in the playoffs, right? And we saw that last year because I feel like if they had a healthy Middleton in that series, they go past Boston, they end up winning the championship for me anyway. As far as Harden and Embiid, like last year, you mentioned that chemistry. Like I thought last year, those two in the pick and roll was actually quite deadly. They haven't seemed to sort of been able to, I guess, find that chemistry again, like you mentioned, for various reasons this year, having only played 6 games together. Right now, I think the Philadelphia 76ers need Harden back more than what obviously the Bucks need Middleton. But I think bigger picture, the Bucks are going to need Middleton more because I think they're a genuine championship contender, whereas I don't think the 76ers are, even with James Harden.
Ooh, okay. I mean, the thing with Middleton, the Bucks have been flying on the back of their defense. Lopez has been great. Giannis has been great. They got the best defense in the league. On the other side of the floor is where things start to get a little interesting. They're the 18th ranked offense, and I think even worse in the half court. Those are the problems that Chris Middleton immediately fixes. So when you look at what the Bucks have already been able to do without Middleton, now you're bringing this guy back. I'm with you. I thought they would have won the championship if Middleton didn't get hurt last season. They're 14-5 and somehow flying under the radar, just given the fact the Boston Celtics are killing everything right now.
Yeah, we agree, BK. We agree on this one here. Look, it's for me. I've said it many times. These regular season games, if you go 8-4 in December, it doesn't really matter. Or if you're on it matters what happens from mid-April through to June, and I think that's where the Milwaukee Bucks want Chris Middleton back. So let's see how that one plays out. All right, BK, we're going to talk a little bit about an Aussie guy that's on fire right now before we get out of here. And that is Dyson Daniels. Had a career night yesterday with the New Orleans Pelicans. Absolutely balled out. Had a career high in points with 14, career high in assists with 9. Also had 8 rebounds in just 31 minutes, which is actually very, very impressive. Played pretty well defensively as well. Really starting to come into his own right now, BK. He even got some praise, very high praise from teammate Zion Williamson after the game. We're going to listen to what he said right now.
It's big time. It's big time because I remember when I first came to the league, my friends be like, man, what is it like? What is it like? And it's like, this isn't high school. This isn't college. Like, you know, Dyson's 19. You may have somebody else on the opposing team, 28 or 30, like 2, 3 kids. They have a family. And this is our job. Like, yeah, we love basketball, but at the end of the day, like, it's how everybody feeds their family. So when you get thrown out there, it's not always like kicks and giggles. It's real life. So to see Dyson getting out there and stepping up like that and to be 19, I mean, as you watched, it's unfolding in front of our eyes. He's just getting better game by game.
Pretty high praise there, BK, from Zion, a guy that's obviously experienced, things like that from a young age as well. Can Dyson keep his momentum going throughout the rest of the season?
Yeah, I absolutely think so. And it's really just been a matter of actually getting on the court. We saw that 31 minutes he played. That was a season high for him. And you can see as the season's kind of gone on, Willie Green's trust in Dyson Daniels is just kind of growing and growing. And he's benefited from, the Pelicans having some injuries, so there has been minutes available for him to come in. But to Daniels' credit, he's made the most of every one of those opportunities. And the longer he seems to be out on the floor, the better he seems to get, which is, it sounds obvious, but like he's not shrinking away from any of these moments. He's had some big matchups, whether it's against LeBron or Luka or whoever else he's guarding, but it just kind of doesn't seem to matter because he does all of those other things in terms of rebounding the ball, getting on the offensive glass, setting teammates up. Like he's kind of just doing all of these other things that are contributing to wins. And we saw that yesterday. He had 14, 9, and 8. Like that's a big production off the bench from a first-year guy.
Yeah, he's a guy that it's clearly like he stays ready so he doesn't have to get ready, And like you mentioned, the Pelicans have had some injuries. There was no CJ McCollum yesterday, no Herb Jones. He came in, played his role, did what he had to do, impressed. And like you said, Willie Green's starting to trust him more and more. It's only going to help him as the season goes on, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And the thing with Dyson as well is everything comes in the flow of the offense. It's not like they're running plays or anything for him. Like he moves the ball really well. He finishes off plays, and that first step that he has, man. I knew Dyson Daniels was quick, but we're starting to really see against NBA athletes, like it doesn't matter who's in front of this guy. Yeah,
and look, man, like I said, like Zion said, he's only 19, man. The ceiling, his ceiling it's limitless, man. He can do so much on a basketball court. It's definitely going to be fun to watch. All right, BK, we're going to catch you again on Monday morning. Have a good weekend, my man.
I appreciate you, my brother.
All right, time to bring on our betting expert, the magic man himself, Mr. Andrew Parkinson. Parky, good morning.
Good morning, Nick. We didn't do too bad on Wednesday. We split our picks. I think that's the first day we've ever agreed on all 4 picks, and we split them. We went 2 and 2, but more importantly, your Knicks covered the spread easily against those lowly Pistons. 140-110 that they won, and you were all over those Knicks. So that was there was no sweating to be done in that game.
No, there was. Well, there was still a little bit of sweating, Pikey, because at the end of the day, it is still the Knicks. So that you can. But it was. We got to the third quarter, and I was like, okay, this one's. I think this one's safe right now.
Yeah, when they're up 30 odd.
Yeah,
it was. No, they weren't going to give that up. But it was a little disappointing. We should have gone 3-1. Should have, could have, would have. But with the Warriors there in that tight game against the Mavs, I think. They should have had that one. They called that travel on Steph late. That technically it probably was a travel, but you don't call that on the superstars of the game in the NBA. I thought the referees were well tuned into that, but anyway, that's always when you've got money on a game. You always seem to see the way the call to go your way. So that's just the way it goes when you're punting.
What's our season total so far? Our season tally?
Well, you're 43 and 43. with a tie in there. So you're spot on exactly 50%, and I'm 30 and 22 with one tie. So that's about 56%. So you're still hovering. You're like the Knicks. You're hovering around that 500 mark, mate, and you're just looking to go. And then Mavs as well, which we're going to talk about today. There's only one game in the NBA today, so we're going to get into that pretty deeply. But yeah, so the tips are going okay, and I think we're going to, with only one NBA game on today, I think we're going to have a crack at some NBL games.
Parky, I'd like to think I'm a little bit more consistent than the Knicks, but in my picks. But
yes, well, that could be the competition we look at is who's got the better record, you or the Knicks. Yeah. So yeah, currently you're even.
There we go. All right, like you mentioned, there's only one NBA game that we're going to take a look at today. We're going to take a look at a couple of NBL games from this weekend as well. So let's start off with the NBA game, and we've got the Dallas Mavericks, Detroit Pistons. Mavericks going into this one $1.29 favorites. Detroit is $3.75. The line's at 8. Totals at 221 even. This one's live on NBA League Pass. Mavs back to 500 with that win over the Warriors the other day. Pistons have lost 3 in a row, smacked by 30 by my New York Knicks, of course. No Cade Cunningham Parky in this game, so he's still out for, they say, maybe about another week or so. And Jaden Ivey is questionable. Is this going to affect your prediction?
Yes. Look, I think the Mavs are going to win this. I think they've won they have won the last 11 games against the Pistons. It's just that spread's creeping out a bit to that 8-point mark. Look, the Pistons are pretty poor. They're 5 and 18, and as you say, they've got players missing. And the Mavs were pretty good, but yeah, the stat that worries me about this is the Mavs haven't covered the spread or the line in each of their last games versus Eastern Conference opponents. So that sort of scared me off the line a little bit there. But what I do like is the over in this. It's 221. The other day, the Mavs scored 116 against the Warriors and were looking good. And I really feel that they can put some points up. And between these two teams, 4 of the last 5 games have gone over. So my pick in this game is over to 221.
I'm going to go Mavs by double digits, Parky.
Like it.
And I like the over too, actually. Sometimes I'm hesitant with the Mavs because they've got games where they can't put any numbers on the board, and then you see the very next game and they'll put up 130. So they're very sort of hot and cold in that regard, but I'm leaning towards the over, so I'll go the over on this one as well.
Yes, and Luka's in pretty good form. He played that Monday game where they beat the Warriors 41, 12 and 12. So I think with a day's rest, they had to travel to Detroit, but I don't think that's going to bother him too much. I think Luka's rolling. He's in for a big game, particularly after Big Perk just bagged him for in the MVP hunt. He's the favourite in the bookies, but Big Perk thinks that he should be. It should come from someone in a winning team. But I think the most valuable player is talking about the player. So we can discuss that maybe on another day. But no, I think Luka's going to have a big one today.
Yeah, we can discuss that on the other day. And I hate to say this, Parky, but I don't agree with many things Perk says, but I kind of agree with him on this.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. He comes up with some weird takes. But hey, I guess he gets people talking about him.
Yeah, and that's what he wants at the end of the day. All right, let's take a look at a couple of these NBL games. We're going to start off with the Adelaide 36ers and the Cairns Taipans. This one's on tonight, 7:30 p.m. The line's at 4.5. Total is at 173, live on ESPN. This is a 6 versus 3 matchup. Adelaide 6th, Cairns are 3rd in the league. 36ers are 5-5. Taipans are 7-4. Adelaide has a game in hand over Cairns, though, Parky. What are you seeing from this one?
Yeah, look, this will be a great match tonight. I'm looking forward to this, seeing we're starved of NBA today. So we've got one NBA game in and we've got one NBL game. So no, this is a good game. 36ers are just coming off a win. They had a good win against Perth, even though everyone seems to be beating Perth at the moment. But but they haven't played for 8 days. And whereas Cairns on Monday had a great win, an overtime win against the Kings, who are sort of leading the NBL at the moment. So yeah, so no, I really like the Cairns as the away team here. They're getting 4.5 points, so that's my pick in this game. And one thing I do want to explain to our viewers out there is when you're looking at the odds, the way they do it in the NBL is that the home team's listed first. So whereas when you're looking at the NBA, it's the home team is listed second, the away team's first. So sorry to do a bit of mansplaining there, but I think that's pretty important. Of who's playing at home. So tonight's game, even though the 36ers are mentioned first in the line on the betting, they're actually the home team. But I still like the Taipans. I do think with that 4.5 point head start that that they can beat the 36ers. They're really rolling the Cairns team.
Yeah, I'm with you, Parky. I just think that long layoff with the Adelaide 36ers, there might be some rust involved there. I mean, they'll shake that off pretty quickly. But yeah, I think the Cairns Taipans are in form right now. I think they cover the spread. I'll stay away from the total in this one, though.
Yeah, no, me too. That total's about right. Look, there is a stat here. It's an interesting one. Cairns, after their last 4 overtime games, because they went to overtime on Monday, it's gone under after those overtime games. But look, the 36ers are a fairly high scoring team. So yeah, I'm going to stay away from the total there.
All right, Parky, next NBL game we're going to take a look at is on tomorrow night, and that's the New Zealand Breakers, Perth Wildcats. Like you said, everyone's beating the Wildcats these days. New Zealand Breakers, 142. Wildcats, $2.68. Lines at 4.5. Totals at 173.5. That one's going to be live on ESPN tomorrow afternoon. Parky, what are you seeing from this one?
Yeah, well, New Zealand are the hot team at the moment. Look, they beat Brisbane the other day by 37 points at home, and I think they're really enjoying playing at home, and they've really got going, because during the COVID times, this team had to basically come and live in Australia for a couple of years there. So now they're experiencing their home court, and they've got a really good home court advantage. This Breaker team, and look, they're rolling. They're 11-3. They're playing the Wildcats. The Wildcats are 5-7. They just had a terrible loss last night against Brisbane, which was great for my old mate Sam McKinnon, who got his first head coaching win, which was great for him. But no, New Zealand are rolling, and I think they can cover that 4.5 points against the Wildcats. Even though the Wildcats are a bit of a wounded animal, and they're going to come into that game, smarting from that loss last night. But no, I see New Zealand covering that spread pretty easy.
Yeah, I agree with you, Parky. I think the Breakers form dictates that this one here is going to be another W in the column for them. So yeah, I agree with you. I'm staying away from the total on this one here as well.
Yeah, no, I'm the same as well. It's it's a bit hard. With these two teams, you just sort of don't know where it's going to go. Look, the way New Zealand are playing, they put up 116 points in their last home game. So I was tempted to bet the over in this one, or to give the pick. But look, I would lean towards the over in this one. But the Wildcats could come out and really try and slow it up a little bit. So I'm a bit tentative on the total there. But no, I think New Zealand are a real good thing in this one.
Absolutely, and they've been fun to watch. Like you said, a couple of great NBL games to sort of tide us over until we get full schedule of NBA games back again. Parky, we're going to catch you again on Monday morning. Enjoy your weekend, mate.
Yeah, look forward to it. You too. We'll see you Monday.
All right, guys, that's been another episode of The Last Shot NBA show right here on Little Birdie TV, brought to you by our great mates over there at topsport.com.au. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you guys Monday morning.